Well, hello there, friends. It's me, your host, the Dread Pirate Space Bum. What is up? And so today, we're finally going to talk about Birds of Prey because I finally watched it. That's right, I finally had time. I instantly started to hear like really, meh things about, and people were instantly like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll wait a little bit. And I didn't want to be super disappointed walking out of a theater. I also wanted the opportunity that if I needed to, I could rewatch it and really get what I needed from it. Anyways, especially because I knew it was coming and I wasn't wrong. And all of you asked me what I thought of Birds of Prey. So I finally did it. I finally watched it last night and I have a compiled, I don't know, list of thoughts. And I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. So I'm going to do my best to keep everything that I talk about very vague and very character centric and very non-storyline centric. I'm going to do my best, but there will come a point when I have to kind of get into this and have to talk about that storyline. There will be a warning. I'll do my best, okay? But anyways, let's get into this. So first of all, when we start out the movie to begin with, there is this adorable Harley Quinn animation. And I'm sorry, but I don't count this as a spoiler. If you feel spoiled by the intro animation that honestly never appears again, you might not like this to begin with. But anyways, it never appears again, and that is significantly disappointing. They almost work to do these catchy, these funny, witty, Deadpool style things with Harley, which I don't altogether mind. She's a very funny, very wacky, very out there, eccentric style character. And so I guess it didn't bother me holistically, but there's so much diversification of how they do it. You get these third-person voiceovers, whatever I meant. You get kind of these looks where it cuts and she looks at the camera and starts talking to the camera all intensely, in a freeze frame. And that's, I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad, but if we had I don't know, if we had more fun with this, throughout as more of an ongoing joke of the movie, if we had reincorporated that animated Harley, if it had really just been this haha of the movie, it might have hit a little bit more like Deadpool did, but they kind of just threw it in there when they could, and so it didn't stick for me. I didn't mind it, and I know a lot of people are don't rip off the Deadpool style, but you guys at some point we do have to acknowledge the fact that that is really, really cool. That is huge. That is honestly groundbreaking in a lot of ways for film. And I guess if we don't have a great understanding of how that got groundbreaking for film, feel free to hit me up in the comments and I'll do an entire video of how big it was that Ryan Reynolds actually got that to happen, y'all. Oh my gosh, that was gigantic. Anyways, I have no blame or I have no either idea that this is not going to be copied, utilized. This is not going to change the way that we see so many films to come. Because not only did he break ground in being able to create a movie in the style he created it, on top of many other things, he opened a door. And I don't think that's quite been acknowledged enough. He opened a door for people to have this ability to express things in a larger way via film, in this more gritty, more hardcore way. And honestly, I will give a lot of this. Sin City, The Watchmen, some of these more hardcore movies really built the platform for all of this being able to happen. But we'll get to that another time. Like I said, if you want to see that, we'll go in the comments. I have no problems with the fact that they did this to Harley. I just have a problem with the fact that it wasn't enough of it. It wasn't committed to. They didn't say yes, we are going for this. This is our style of Harley. This is what we're doing. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really, really enjoyed the inclusion of the girl cliches. I know I talked about this in my Valentine's Day video, but it's so true. When she sits down and she eats the entire can of Cheese Whiz, man, I was wow, I always really relate to Harley Quinn, but that got personal. How do you know about my affection for cheese? But anyways, I liked that a lot. I thought that was funny. And then she goes in the mirror and she chops off her pigtails. And that was enjoyable. The one thing I did not enjoy about this is they at first dedicate to this change. And they're like, oh, we're going to low pigtail Harley. And it is so cute. And like, honestly, I really liked that. I was really excited at that one very brief portion. I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to commit to a different Harley. Comes back out next scene and her pigtails are back up here. That was terrible. But anyways, that was like, it was that fast. She was back to Joker Harley. And it was like, you had an opportunity. You had that opportunity to grasp that makeover, that change of person, that entire change of aesthetic that girls really do go through to more or less slough an identity of who you were with before. But I mean, this is what we do. And that comes to the point of I liked the hyena. I ain't got no beef with the hyena other than, I mean, tiny editing faux pas that if you watch really, really hard for things like that, you'll be like, huh, why is he suddenly just sitting there doing that? Y'all forgot, didn't ya? That's okay. Editing's a lot, I get it. But at the same time, there are some really kind of funny things about the hyena. He's a very underutilized prop as well, which was a bummer. I have my wonders if he's underutilized because of the fact of, you ain't getting a real hyena to work on set. Like, no. So that's animation. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of effort. I kind of get why he was more or less underutilized. The story prop could have been so much better. I'm really mad about this one. And so I'm going to try to not get too like about it. But yeah, I think it's a little obvious if you watch all my other social medias. I love Doja Cat. I think she is amazing. I think she is awesome. But I definitely saw the Doja Cat video for, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but I'm a boss. Oh yeah, that's the title by Doja Cat. That's all you need to look for. I was just gonna like say the rest of the line and I was like, but anyways, that song is amazing. I love that song. And when it went with Birds of Prey, I was honestly really excited. I was like, oh my God, so cool. And I love the way they like pulled pieces of this and that and they put her on set, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. I really wasn't thinking through it, but I also like hadn't seen the movie. So I didn't know if potentially pieces of this had been, shot, for certain things, whatever. Here's the thing. Okay. So having done all of this, sets don't stay together forever, especially movie sets. Movie sets are built out of pieces, parts that oftentimes are recycled very quickly and moved to other movies. I know there's like the backlot tours and stuff like that, and I have heard rumors that a lot of the backlot tours are reassembled at the point that they are dedicated as a backlot tour, and they're not actually just kept that way, but it kind of makes sense. Even if you look at the yellow wall that they're on, it's two pieces of wall slid over each other with lights in between. It's not that hard to do. Doja Cat's video, I think it is extremely obvious. They shot a lot of that around the same time. So why we needed the almost trailer-esque movie cut-ins of actual Harley Quinn and we couldn't have put Margot Robbie and Doja Cat in a music video together? Dang, Margot Robbie. Your stunts were amazing. Your acting was beautiful. There were points where I felt like they really toned down the actual Harley Quinn of Harley Quinn. And there were points where I felt like Margot really, really brought it through. And she just she won me. It was like, yes. There's the point where she goes all stabby. I'm just gonna say, that was the point in the movie. I was laughing to tears. I was like, oh my God. I've never seen anybody be so, legitimately Harley Quinn. I am in love. Now, one of the most pivotal and angering parts of this movie, Joker. Alright, do you see? The first thing that made me really unhappy about this was when you decided to use the Acme Chemical that scene, right? But then you definitely trimmed that scene and cut Jared Leto out of it. Now, I'm not saying anything here. All I'm gonna say is that if you really wanted to dedicate to the fact that, like, we made a mistake, we shouldn't have gone that direction, we're dedicating to a different one, you might have done so. Maybe you could have used a stand-in. You know, shun the back of his head or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe it would have been as bad, but that, or we could have just accepted the fact that we did that happened, it exists, and it is. So you could have just shown him. Then again, yeah, we don't need to get all of it. I don't know. I'm just saying that was kind of weird. But what I thought was weirder than that actually was right before that. And there takes place this really weird conversation where, like, at first she's like, no one knows that I broke up with Mr. J. I'm like, And then she's like walking out and, like, all of a sudden, like, these people are talking about how, like, she'll run right back to Mr. J and this and this and this. And that's when, you know, things start to tumble for her and she finally is like, fine, I'm done with it. I'll tell people. I don't necessarily mind this whole, like, identity based in Joker thing, but we didn't wholeheartedly dedicate to the identity being based in Joker, you guys. We flip-flopped this at points to where at points people are simply mad at her for being Harley Quinn. Okay, well, if you want Harley Quinn to have her own identity above and beyond the Joker already, then I don't think it needs to be such a big deal that her and the Joker broke up. I need to say really quick, it did make me really, really kind of grumpy that this is a Harley Quinn movie. They made such a point of being like, this isn't about the Joker. The Joker's not in this one. They cut the Joker's face out. Just so we can spend, honestly, like an hour and 40-minute movie talking about the Joker. I don't care about him that much, honestly. What are we doing? Really quick, two things about, like, actual stage and production. The costumes, I liked the costumes in a lot of ways. I liked that they toned down the overall revealingness of the costume. They didn't go back to the Suicide Squad. Ooh, thank you. Thank you for actually doing something with the costumes. And I have to say, the very first costume you see her in, it's the biggest one that's shown in the trailer. She's in this almost clear rain jacket with banners and stuff. Oh my gosh, streamers going down her arm. I saw this TikToker that actually did the outfit with this clear rain jacket and stuff, and I saw it before I watched the movie, obviously. And so when I saw her do it, I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. Like, I like that. I like the replication. I wonder how it stands up. So when I went and watched it, I was actually amazed. I was like, wow, not only does her TikTok stand up to that costume, like, good on you guys actually creating a costume that was replicatable easily. And from there to great, into the point where, honestly, I believe we were doing absolutely nothing but trying to sell merchandise, merchandise, clothing. We like the idea of replicatable costumes because, honestly, I like the idea of cosplay for everyone. I really do. I'm not against anybody that wants to buy their cosplay. Please do not get me wrong. But a lot of us have really deep respect for these costume designers. A lot of us have really deep love for the art of costume design. And so when that gets stripped away from a character or an icon or the ability to replicate anything from it simply to sell merchandise, we've completely done away with the idea of cosplay for everyone, and we've made cosplay a viable enterprise. And a lot of you know, I've bought quite a few of my costumes, and I have absolutely no shame in this. A lot of it is great to buy, and a great base material to buy, and then edit into a better costume yourself. No shame in the game, okay? But at the same time, I'm not a screen printer. I don't have a circuit. I cannot replicate that Harley Quinn shirt. So I guess congratulations making $20 if I actually decide that that's a direction my life needs to go. The makeup. The makeup. And I see you. I see the makeup joke, but I also really enjoyed your guys' actual... You did makeup that's replicatable. You did makeup that everybody can do for Harley Quinn. That is easy. At least easy to even find a tutorial doing. And like, bless your souls, I love you makeup artists for having done that. You did it on a lot of the characters, and y'all are really cool for doing that. I also thought some of the effects they used in this movie were really fun. And there were some times where... This is where I feel like we started to tipsy-topsy-turvy the Harley, where Harley would be like extremely violent, and we're almost like Rorschach in the Watchmen like status, going crazy. And then sometimes she's more tamed down and fun, and almost the comic Harley that we expect. She, spoiler alert, she walks into a police station with a shotgun, but it's filled with beanbags and paint and trying to remember, oh, sparkles and glitter, and that was probably one of my favorite things ever to see. I was like, the glitter bomb was like, yes! And here, an even bigger spoiler alert, because we're actually going to talk about the storyline. Alright. This storyline was okay. By the time you get to the end of the movie, by the time you get there, I actually understood where they were going with this. I see you, DC. I get what you tried to do. And what they were, I think at least ultimately attempting to achieve, was all the birds of prey, these various pieces, all had to overcome a life villain, more or less. A life problem, a speed bump, a mountain, whatever in the world you call it, they had to overcome something that was standing in their way. And yes, for Harley, that absolutely is Joker. I 100% respect that, and it made me respect a lot more some of these reasons that we did things. Not necessarily leaving the Joker out like we did, cutty, but whatever. I understood why the Joker came up so much all of a sudden, and why certain conversations took place, why we had to have certain discussions about Mr. J or breaking up or this or that. And then I also felt like there were certain fight scenes where more or less I feel like there's one scene in particular, the guy with all the tattoos on his face, and he comes at her and he's like, you did this. And she's like, well, technically it was Mr. J. And he's like, I get that, but you dared him to do it. And she's like, eh. And it's like, well, that's funny and all. I don't know. I would have appreciated a little bit more of this banter, and a little bit... I didn't mind it being so much like put on her or made her fault. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I want it to be made his fault by any means. But I would have enjoyed a little bit more of her having that emotional break, that realization of how bad Joker was for her in these moments of these things, and that's just never shown. I feel like maybe that was attempted in back growth and more or less read between the lines, watch how she grows, taking care of the child, whatever, the things she does, these various things, watch her almost regain goodness meter, and you could have used some of that break in dialogue, some of that over animation, some of that even discussion between random characters, to simply break down these walls of Harley's learning. Harley's learning, and Harley learning too, that she's actually codependent and her overall dependency on Mr. J, because for honestly, 40 minutes of the movie, you see her doing nothing but Mr. J, all this, all that, if anyone finds out. This is supposed to be a pretty badass, and I ain't got no problem with the cliches, the sadness, the hurt, the whatever. But if anyone finds out, that's probably the singular thing that made me the most mad about this. If anyone finds out, forget that. That should not even be a part of Harley. I'm sorry. I get Joker's big, whatever, but at the same time, we're trying to pretend like Black Mask is even bigger in the movie. So, yeah. thanks for asking what I thought of it, and thanks for sticking around to see what I thought of it, I guess. And I promised y'all a reel of my Harleys, so I guess we'll get going and show you my evolution of where I've come from in cosplaying Harley, because when I started, I didn't have much of an idea of what I was doing, and I definitely did not like try to use good makeup. I bought a lot of random things off Amazon, and I just kind of started. And I just kind of started doing it and got into it, and then learned as I went, because I'm kind of just a jump head first in kind of person. Maybe a little crazy, but that's why I cosplay Harley. So, enjoy my cosplays and enjoy seeing how far I've come in like 5 years. And never forget that anybody can change. Anybody can do anything they want to if they just tell themselves that they can. Thank you very much, puddins, and I hope you all have a great day.